Hi, welcome back to my channel. I have the window open because it's a little warm up here, so we'll see if I can handle the breeze. I'm also racing my phone battery, so let's see how it goes for our June recap. So we're gonna be quick. The first book that I read was Queen of Shadows, so that is number 4 in Throne of Glass. And my iPad's frozen too. Okay, so this is what a cover looks like, because as you can guess, there's a bunch of different covers for this series. So this actually, like, a lot of stuff happened. So much. Can't tell you any of it. But Throne of Glass is the story of Selena Sardathian, who finds out some things about herself. There's a corrupt king. Lots more happens with the king in this book. Good times. There's also a witch storyline that I really like. So I'm excited for that to develop more. I don't feel like I can really tell you any more about that book. So 4 stars. Liked it a lot. Then I listened to The Color of Compromise. So this is by Jemar Tisby. This is how the American church has dealt with racism. And let me tell you, not well. Was I surprised? No, but it is still really sad to hear history recapped and see that, like, every time that, like, Black Americans got, like, a little more power or a little more, like, freedoms, ability, like, rights, like everybody else, the church was complicit in stealing power away from them. So, just keeping people down. I gave that 5 stars. It was a very entertaining book. It didn't take very long. It was a good audiobook. So if you're looking for something like that. And then I finally got to Same Time Next Summer by Annabelle Monaghan. This was like the story of the summer last year. I actually purchased it twice last year and still never read it. So I purchased it in the fall, and I wanted to save it for the atmospheric time of year. So I read it. I feel like it was slightly overhyped. It was good. But I don't know, I was just expecting, like, the most amazing story ever because it was overhyped. But this is a story of our character who goes back to the island that her family, like, summers on. She hasn't been there in, like, 10 years. She's going with her fiance, looking at, like, wedding venues, and her first love is there. And drama had unfolded between them, so I bet you can't guess what happens. It was a very well told story, and it's pretty short. So I read this in, like, a sitting, probably. So I gave that one 4 stars. Wasn't perfect, but it was a really good summer story. So I just get I just don't like when books are so overhyped, like, all the Tic Tacs. Never Never by Colleen Hoover. So this, I think, originally was released as, like, 3 parts. So it's bound into a book. My mom actually owned this, so she gave it to me. And yeah, like, it was interesting. I feel like this was kind of the precursor to Verity. So I feel like before this, she wrote just, like, romance with, like, a twist. And this is definitely, like, more, like, not necessarily sci-fi. Oh, my ring light just died. I don't know why. Gosh. I love this. Shall we continue? Or do I try to put it back? Dang it. I guess we'll continue with some natural evening light. So our main characters have, like, an amnesia. They don't know, like, who each other are in time and space, but they, like, remember everything that they need to know to function. So, like, how to drive a car, like, weird facts to live by. But so Charlie and Silas are told that they've been in love for years. They're, like, childhood sweethearts. They're in high school, but there's all sorts of drama between them two. So they're trying to figure that out and not forget. So they just, like, I think it's like 48 hours that they, like, lose all their memories again. So it was very fast moving, just not super amazing. This felt a little bit more YA, so I gave it a 3. Then I am working on on reading the backlog for Kristin Hannah. So I borrowed Summer Island from the library. So our main character, Ruby, her mom, is it Nina? Nora, left them when she was a child, and she hates her mom. But her mom went on to become like an advice columnist or radio personality who like gives out family advice. So a scandal breaks and Nora has to deal with that, and she doesn't deal with it well. So she's injured and her daughter has to take care of her. And so they go back to Summer Island, which is where they used to live as a family. And there's a few different layers to the story, but Kristin Hannah just really writes like just beautiful stories. So this is pre-historical fiction Kristin Hannah, but still a really good read. So I gave it 4 stars, and I just really enjoyed it. Then I listened to Once Upon a Broken Heart. So this is by Stephanie Garber, who wrote Caraval, which is like a fantasy like game that people are like competing in. So this is in the same world. So I don't feel like you need to read Caraval. I can't remember what any of the other ones are, but I think it's 3. It's like there's 3 books in that series. I don't think you have to read them, but it is in the same universe. So our main character, Evangeline, yes, she finds out that her true love is getting married to her stepsister. So she like makes a wish, breaks it up. Lots of consequences because she never reads the fine print. The Prince of Hearts. Yeah, I think he's the Prince of Hearts. He's kind of a trickster, so he gets involved, and lots of stuff happens in this book. It was entertaining. It was a good audiobook, so I gave it 4 stars. Then I read This Summer Will Be Different by Carly Fortune. So Every Summer After that she wrote like 2 years ago was so good. I gave it 5 stars. I loved it. It was like spicy. The banter was good. The story was so good. And then she wrote Meet Me at the Lake, and that one was really disappointing. Like, it was fine. It just wasn't special. So I picked this up with a little bit of reservation because I just didn't want my heart broken again. This one is so good. I gave this one 5 stars. I read it so fast. Our main character, Lucy, goes home to Prince Edward Island with her friend. And while she's waiting for her, something happens with her friend's brother that she doesn't know it's the brother. And so it's like all these summers that they've had this like kind of relationship under their family's noses, and then current day. And Lucy's friend, I don't remember what her name is, but is getting married, but there's like something dramatic going on, so they go to Prince Edward Island. And who is there but Felix? And yeah, it's like spicy and good, and the atmosphere of Prince Edward Island. I've been there before, but I want to go back so bad because like the way it's written, this is like a love letter to Prince Edward Island. So highly recommend. All the summer vibes for that one. All right, I'm getting to the end of my little book journal here. Okay, and then the moment you've been waiting for, I read The Housemaid. And I sat down after a church service and never got up again until it was done. So I will be reading the second one. This was good. This was a 5-star. And I'm a little bit disappointed that I read The Teacher by Freida McFadden first, because it was fine. But this one was way better. So yes, all of your suggestions have been redeemed by me reading this. So I don't know, I don't really know what the housemaid's name is. Is it? It just says I in the back, you know? So our main character is like down on her luck, living in a car, gets a job to be the housemaid for Nina, the wife, and her husband. And Nina's crazy. She acts crazy, and then something happens between the housemaid and the husband. And that's what I'm going to tell you. But there are some twists in this. I wasn't like super, super surprised by what happened, but like it was still so satisfying for it to happen. So 5 stars. Will read, is it The Housemaid's Secret? I think that's the second one. Then I listened to The Heiress by Rachel Hawkins. So I have been reading her book since The Wife Upstairs came out. I really enjoy her. Do you think I don't know if I have a picture of it. Nope. Okay. So The Heiress by Rachel Hawkins. Our main character, well, she's kind of like what it's all about. So Ruby McTavish was stolen as a child in Appalachia. And then she's returned. Or is she? So there's that. She also has family, but adopted a son. So he is her heir. He wants like nothing to do with this drama of this family stuff. So after she passes, he gets the whole estate, but wants nothing to do with it. So just kind of like lets the family live there. And the family's kind of like letting things fall apart. So he returns with his wife. I don't feel like I can tell you more, but it's like, who's the heiress? Is Ruby the heiress? People are murdered. Sorry, Mabel's sitting next to me licking, if you hear that. So I gave it a 4-star. I really liked it. It was fast moving. It was a good audiobook. Then I read one of my backlogged book of the month. So this was from December of 2023. So this has been sitting around. I have since read another Kate Alice Marshall, What Lies in the Woods. I think I read that last month. So this one was better than that one. I would give this 4 stars. Our main character has 2 sisters, and we don't really know what happened to their parents, but their parents were murdered in their house when they were younger. And our main character, Emma, was blamed for it, but not convicted. So her deadbeat husband like loses his job, all this stuff. So they have to go live in the house. The sisters don't want them uncovering things, so they show up, and then you kind of like piece together what happened on that night, because the girls also don't know what happened. So unpacking that. It was twisty-turny. I don't love how it ended, just because it was kind of like, wait, what? Like, we solved it. And then there was another, like, but this actually happened. So, that was kind of weird. But also unsurprising. So, yeah. Twisty-turny. Then I listened to Kindred by Octavia Butler. So this one was probably written in the 70s. I feel like it's just kind of I've always seen it, and I thought that it looked good. I think there might be a TV show. So our main character is Dana. She is like 26 years old in 1976, and she is like yanked back in time to 1813, where she saves the life of a plantation owner's son. She finds out that she's actually related to this boy, and then throughout the story is repeatedly yanked back. Like, time passes for him, but not much time passes in the present for her. And guess what? She's a black woman who's getting pulled back to a plantation. So it's truly, like, horrifying, especially with the, like, lens of the 1970s, going back to a time where you have no rights. And, yeah, it's just the dynamics and everything were so good. It was a really good audiobook that I got from Libby, and I highly recommend. 5 stars. This is a book that I feel like we should have read in school. Like, this is a modern classic that really, I mean, it makes you think, and it makes you think hard about America. So, there's that. I finished my book journal. So that was 100 books so far. And then I have The Fake Mate by Lana Ferguson. I picked this up because I read The Nanny. And that was like what you would expect. It was spicy, it was good. So I did not realize that this was like a weird werewolf romance. If you've read Bride by Ali Hazelwood, it kind of has that same vibe, like the nodding. This was spicy. It was good and entertaining. It just it was a little thick. It went a little long. And it didn't feel original because I recently read Bride, but yeah. So I thought maybe they were doctors or vets. I didn't realize they were werewolves. I probably could have like read the back, but I gave it 4 stars. And so So our main character is an Omega, which is something super special, I guess. And he's an alpha. But so it's not like a secret. So, yeah. But they're fake dating. I just feel like the fake dating thing is getting, like, I love it, but it's getting a little old for me. So, then I read Not in Love by Allie Hazelwood. I love her books. The women in STEM, the banter. You know that we're not, like, talked down to about the science. Like, do I know what this is? No. But I can roll with it. So our main character is Rue and then Eli. So they, like, meet on a dating app. Something goes awry. And then they find out that he's actually, like, trying to do a takeover of her tech company. There's a lot of history. So that, the, like, backstory and side story is interesting and high stakes. And the chemistry and romance is great as well. So I gave this one 4 stars. I read it very quickly. It's not as good as The Love Hypothesis. That's a 5-star. But it was a 4-star. Solid. Like, her books are all 4 or 5. They just are solid. I love them. Then I listened to TJ Newman's other book. So I had recently read Drowning, which was so good. So good. 5 stars. I cried just from, like, overwhelming, like, emotion from, like, the thriller of it, which I don't know that I've ever done that before. So I read Falling because I've heard that it's just as good. I would say it is good. Drowning is superior. So I would read this one first if you're planning to read both. This was the first. So TJ Newman is a retired, prior flight attendant, and so her knowledge really works to make this higher stakes, and, like, it makes sense. Like, if a nurse is going to write a medical book, it's going to be better. Mabel is, like, running under the camera. It just didn't hold up to as good and high of stakes and, like, good as Drowning was. Like, Drowning was so good. And Falling was good. It was a good thriller. We've got a hostage situation and you're trying to figure it out. And there's lots of players. So 4 stars to Falling. And then I read Come and Get It by Kylie Reed. So she wrote Such a Fun Age that I just feel like I randomly picked up when that came out, and it was so good. And Come and Get It, honestly, like, I can't even, I don't even know how to sum up the book. Like, it was such, like, mundane little things all tied together, but it was so well written and so enjoyable to read. And you can just, like, see them all coming together like a train wreck. So I feel like the biggest part of it is that one of our main characters is an RA in a dorm. One of them is, she's a professor there, but she's also, like, writing a column. So she's, like, looking for material, and she interviews some girls about weddings and money and gets, like, these ridiculous sound bites from college-age girls and then pursues that further. The ethics are not great in this book, but it is so entertaining. It explores some, like, roommate dynamics, like, different, like, money, like, brackets, definitely race, and it was just so entertaining, especially as someone who lived in dorms for years. Roommates, man. So I gave this 4 stars, mostly because I just don't know how I would sum this up for someone, but it was a delight, and I had to get it because it has a pig on it, obviously. All right, that was June. I don't feel like I actually read that many books, but they were very enjoyable, and now I am going to try to get 1 book read before Summerween starts next week and read some, like, thriller and more, like, spooky books before I return to the regularly scheduled program, which is Beach Reads. All right, I think I beat the battery, so I will have this uploaded soon, and thinking about possibly vlogging for, like, Summerween or something. So maybe you'll see us sometime sooner than the end of July. Anyway, have a good day.